Hi, everyone. If you find yourself checking your phone every few minutes, whether it's emails, notifications, or social media, you're not alone. But what if I told you that this habit is quietly draining your productivity, making your leadership weaker, and even pulling you away from the most important people in your life? In this video, we are going to discuss what checking your phone constantly does to your business and family, along with what you can do about it so that you can focus better at work and be fully present at home. Be sure to stick around to the end because I'm going to share some simple tips that help me reclaim control over my phone without missing important messages. If you're new here, my name is Jared, and I'm a high school teacher turned leadership coach. Over the last few years, I've worked with business owners and leaders who struggle with staying present and productive. I know firsthand how easy it is to get caught up in the loop of checking notifications while thinking just one more second. But that 1 second oftentimes can turn into minutes, if not hours, of lost time. So today, I'm going to be walking you guys through two major ways phone addiction is hurting your business, your home life, and what you can do to take back some control. So if you'd like to skip forward or rewind, feel free to use the chapter markers I've included below. So in this section, we're going to talk about how checking your phone kills your business momentum. A while back, I realized that my biggest phone distraction wasn't social media as much as it was emails, texts, and chat messages. So every time I answered a message or solved a problem, I'd get this small hit of satisfaction, like, yes, I just did something. But at the end of the day, I wasn't making real progress on my highest leverage work. And here's the tricky part. The demands of leadership often make constant communication feel necessary. But the truth is, without boundaries, constant communication will hijack your focus and your control. You see, every time you check a notification or answer a quick text, your brain has to reorient itself back to the task at hand. So I've read that it can take up to 23 minutes to fully regain focus after you get interrupted. So if you do the math here, if you check your phone 15 times during the workday, that could be 6 hours of lost productivity every week. Multiply that by a year, and it's weeks of wasted time. So instead of working on your business, you're constantly pulled into low priority distractions. And this is the thing, notifications trick your brain into thinking they're urgent when most of them are not urgent. So for example, checking a quick Slack message about a small issue can lead to an hour of follow-ups, and suddenly that whole morning is off track. At one point, I worked with a group of business leaders who were constantly overwhelmed by the back and forth messaging that was going on. They were always on call, reacting instead of leading. I challenged them to create a structured communication protocol. And what we did is we established clear guidelines. We talked about when to message versus when to call, what qualified as an actual emergency, how to handle problems without relying on constant managerial and leadership intervention. The results were fantastic. Managers stopped being reactive and started thinking critically before messaging. They empowered their teams to solve problems without always needing a response. The business saw an increase in efficiency, and these leaders finally had breathing work to work on high impact decisions instead of being trapped in solving everyone's little fires. At this point, I hope you've seen how your phone is quietly draining your business momentum. But what if I told you that it's also affecting the people who matter most? Before we answer that question, if you're liking this video so far, please hit the like button because that helps YouTube share this video with other business owners and leaders who might benefit from this video. So in this section, we're going to talk about how your phone addiction is ruining your presence at home. It was about 6 or 7 years ago for me, I had a moment that really hit me. My kids were getting older, and I realized that I wasn't playing with them as much. I was glued to my phone. I remember thinking something like, I work so hard to be home on time, only to spend that time distracted on my phone. Something is not adding up here. And I'm here to remind you and me that your absence is felt. You see, if you're at the dinner table answering emails, you're not just checking a message, you're signaling to your family that work is more important in that moment than them. Compounding that over time will have a huge, significant impact in the relationships you have at home. Constant phone checking breaks relational rhythms like eye contact and having deep conversations and having presence to get to know those who are around you. And listen, if you want a thriving relationship with your family at home right now, but also have a good relationship with them in the future, you have to make deposits into those relationships now. And one of the first things you can do is get your phone usage under control. We could really dive into this more, but for now, your phone usage is pulling you away from your family. So the real question is, how do you actually fix it? So in the next section, we're going to talk about a simple framework to break free from constant phone checking. I've tried a ton of things to control my phone use. Some of them are really annoying, and honestly, I just don't like them, but they work. The first thing is I eliminated social media from my phone entirely. Then I keep my phone on black and white mode. It makes my phone so unappealing. I use Do Not Disturb constantly, and I've set it up in such a way that certain people that I have selected can break through that D&D mode on my phone. I openly communicate with my team and family so they know how to reach me if it's a true emergency. Those are some of the things that I do that have worked for me, and you're gonna have to tinker to see what works for you. Here's some suggestions that I think might help at work. I recommend for you to create a structured communication protocol and establish clear guidelines on when to message versus when to call. What qualifies as an actual emergency in your line of work? This communication protocol also needs to include how to handle problems without relying on constant leadership intervention, meaning who's the first person they ought to message? Is there a resource document where they have frequently answered questions that they can reference? I highly recommend that if you set up any of these things, you need to encourage your team and other leaders to do all of this without sacrificing results. And if it ever does sacrifice results, you must make adaptations until you find the win for the business and also the win for letting go of phone distractions. Another recommendation is turn off non-essential notifications during deep work hours. Communicate with others and set up a rhythm in which you will put your phone away for a period of time and then check it after a certain time frame. Consider trying using Do Not Disturb mode when focusing on a high priority task. Or on your calendar, schedule specific phone-free hours where you're able to engage on the most important work. Again, all of these are suggestions that may or may not work for you, but get started and try. Here's a few suggestions that I think might work for you at home. Create phone-free zones. No phones at the dinner table, during family time, or in bed. Use this 5-minute rule. What that is basically when you come home, spend 5 uninterrupted minutes engaging with your family before you even touch your phone. Another recommendation is lead by example. If you want your family to be present, you must be present first. Be sure to turn off unnecessary notifications to reduce the temptations to check. And one thing that might be really helpful is find a replacement habit at home. So rather than checking your phone, do something with your family. So now that we've covered a few practical steps, what is your next action step? In my opinion, you should get subscribed so you can see more of this type of content. In this video, we discussed what checking your phone constantly does to your business and family, along with what you can do about it so that you can focus better at work and be fully present at home. Once you've taken control of your phone habits, it's critical to remember that the key isn't just about removing distractions. It's also about building a system that keeps you focused. So if you want to know more about building a good system to keep you focused, check out this video right over here where I go over the 5 reasons why you should start a weekly routine as soon as possible.